Out to Hans Nichols, our Pentagon correspondent, who is over at the White House with some of this breaking news on this student now released, apparently, from North Korea. This is all breaking in just the last couple of minutes here, Hans. Can you walk us through any new developments?
Well, the new development is according to the Washington Post, who's spoken with Otto Warmbier's family. This is a 22-year-old University of Virginia student, and they say that he's arriving home in a coma and that he has been in a coma since for over a year. Now, remember, the last appearance, the last interaction he had with anyone was with Swedish diplomats about more than a year ago. And it's the Swedish diplomats that sort of undertake America's diplomacy in North Korea. Now, what we have this morning is that at 8:30, Secretary Tillerson informed President Trump of Warmbier's release. He's en route now. He is in a coma. Now, what the North Koreans are saying is he developed this coma after he had a case of botulism, food poisoning essentially, and they gave him a sleeping pill from which he has never woken up from. Now, this is all according to the Warmbier family that's speaking to the Washington Post. Secretary Tillerson is on Capitol Hill testifying right now. We'll see on whether or not he's asked about this. And one important note, Hallie, we do know that Dennis Rodman is there in the country. The statement from the Pentagon, from the State Department as well, is they are claiming credit for the release. They are not saying this is any way related to Dennis Rodman. And I've asked a couple officials here at the White House this morning. No one seems to have any sense on whether or not Dennis Rodman's arrived, what his itinerary is. They are saying this is freelance diplomacy on Dennis Rodman's side. And for the moment, they are claiming credit for his release. We're going to try to find out more about his medical condition. Hallie?
Hans, you mentioned Secretary of State Tillerson, who is testifying right now in front of the Senate. And let me tell you this, our team listening in has confirmed that Tillerson is talking about this. He has confirmed what you have just reported here when it comes to this now released student, apparently in a coma, according to the Secretary of State. We are working to turn around that sound for you. But Hans, for people who aren't familiar with Otto, with this student, UVA junior at the time that he went to North Korea, can you give us a little background on him and how this all happened?
So it was New Year's Eve. This is 2015 heading into 2016. It was his last day on a trip. He went upstairs to his staff room and allegedly took a poster that had what we would call North Korean propaganda. Because of that crime, it was a crime against the state, he was sentenced to 15 years of hard labor. Now, that was about 16, 17 months ago. Now what we have a situation is that he appears to have been in a coma for much of this time. We have a statement from Senator Portman, who represents the family in Ohio. He's flying back to Cincinnati, and he's saying that we should all have him in our thoughts and our prayers, asking for privacy for the family in this difficult time. This essentially, the way it was reported at the time, though, Hallie, it sounded like a junior in college on a foreign study program, on an exchange, attempted a prank. And for that, he got sentenced to 15 years of hard labor. He's coming home, but we're trying to determine just what his medical condition is. Hallie?